Hello and welcome to today's employee orientation to the Disability Management Program at Det Warehousing. You can turn off your video while I'm doing the presentation and turn it on at the end for questions. Thank you. I'm Diane Taylor and I am an occupational health nurse at Det Warehousing. Okay, so we're going to just go over the agenda. It involves describing what disability management program, vision statement, our goals and objective of this program and this presentation, the definition of disability management, our learning objectives, the elements of a disability management program and how they apply, our employer responsibilities, the return to work process, and conclusion. So the Disability Management Program vision statement for Det Warehousing is to support Det Warehousing's commitment to a healthy work environment and the safe and timely return of an injured or ill worker to employment. This is a vision that is accomplished through the prevention of injury and illness to employees, early intervention in health and injury and recovery phases after injury and illness. Through our disability management plan at Det Warehousing, we work to achieve the best performance in managing all workplace disabilities and work towards promoting employee recovery and health through active claim and case management, in addition to safe and timely return to work for employees. Our policies will be covered in other parts of this orientation that you guys will attend. Our goal in this presentation is to increase new employee knowledge about the disability management plan, and our objectives is to share relevant information about employee benefits program, the disability management, and return to work process. Disability management is defined as an active process of minimizing the impact of an impairment on an employee's ability to function within the workplace. We want people to stay at work and come back to work when they're injured. So our learning objectives. At the end of this session, employees will be able to identify the elements of a disability management program as they were presented to you, describe the employer's duty to accommodate in as best you can, and understand the return to work process and an employee's part in it. These are elements of a disability management plan that I'm going to be going over. We're going to talk about prevention and how they are involved. It is involved in disability management, early intervention, and how early intervention helps an employee stay at work or return to work, and the recovery process. So in prevention, there is the elements of health promotion, where workplace hazards are identified and actions are done to prevent accidents and occupational illness. That's an important aspect of disability management. It is an important part of all our workplaces, and you will be orientated and trained in hazard identification. As other parts of our benefit programs, we encourage employees to remain healthy and participate in healthy activities, and we do have fitness program discounts that you can take advantage of. For training and education, there is the employee orientation that you guys are in right now, information and training provided for hazard identification, and WMIS, that's an important part of your orientation, and ergonomic training for your workplace health and safety. Personal protective equipment is provided at the workplace. It is provided through the employer, but it is an employee's responsibility to use the personal protective equipment that is provided to the employee. The Employee Assistance Program helps with prevention. It is available on a web page or an app or a phone number. These will be provided to you also in the orientation. They will provide information about lifestyle modifications or help with life events like having a baby or caring for an elderly family member or even financial problems. There is stress management and attendance management policies that are available through our program. And counseling is always available through our EAP, through Chappelle, or our benefits also provide for some private counseling. For early intervention, this is when an employee goes off on sick leave very early. The supervisors or the manager will contact the injured or ill employee within 5 days of the injury or illness. This helps the employee to feel engaged in the workplace and to return back to work. It also keeps good contact with the employer and the employee. We have a supportive benefits program to help with early intervention, with prescription coverage, targeted education, including diabetes information, blood pressure management. That is what the occupational health nurses provide at Det Warehousing. There is counseling that is covered, chiropractic, massage, podiatry. Those will all be outlined in your benefits program package that will be provided to you when it is available. And accommodations are always available in the workplace. An employer has the duty to accommodate to the point of undue hardship. And accommodation measures may include changes to an employee's job demands or their schedule, structural modifications to his or her work, and use of assistance devices if necessary. In the recovery stage of our program, that's when an employee is on short or long-term disability. Together with our benefits provider for workers' compensation, we work to the management of individual employee claims, rehabilitation. There are early return to work programs. You may find yourself having a jobs demand analysis where what you do at work is recorded and measured, and then someone sees if you will still be able to do that work. And there are transitional job options that are available for employees who cannot return to their work at that moment, but are on the return to work path. In duty to accommodate, employers have a legal duty to reasonably accommodate characteristics that are defined in the Human Rights Code to the point of undue hardship. Characteristics that are defined include disabilities, family status, pregnancy, ancestry, and religion. These need to be accommodated in the workplace. That means that the employer must take every reasonable effort to identify and eliminate anything that discriminates against workers or puts them at a disadvantage in the workplace. While employers have the duty to accommodate, employees must inform the employer that they need an accommodation. In the return to work process, it starts when the employee is ill or injured. An assessment and treatment is provided by your healthcare provider. This can be a doctor, a chiropractor, a nurse practitioner, anyone who is able to do your evaluation. The employee can be given temporary restrictions or modified return to work duties. This will be communicated to your supervisor and the Human Resources Department at Det Warehousing. From this, the employee should be able to return to full work. If the recovery is delayed, additional assessments will be continued through your primary care provider, or we may bring in other care providers to continue your assessments. Temporary restrictions may be placed and modified return to work duties may be provided at that time. And then hopefully from there, the employee is able to return to work. If still after this step, the employee is not able to return to full duties, permanent modifications and modified return to work may be established to enable the employee to return to work. Return to work is a dynamic process. It begins as soon as the employee is ill or injured. An employee that returns to work sooner is more likely to return to work than an employee that has a lengthy time away from work. Early return to work benefits both the employee and the employer. The employee remains employed and maintains their mental health and self-image, and the employer maintains an employee that is trained with the company and a good work. Finally, our conclusion. So disability management is an active process within DET warehousing that helps minimize the impact of an impairment on the employee's ability to function within the workplace. We've discussed the components that are in the disability management plan, including prevention, early intervention, and recovery, and how it's part of the employer and the employee's process. We know that the employer has a duty to accommodate workers and that the employee has a duty to tell the employer that they need accommodations. And finally, return to work is a dynamic process allowing ill or injured workers back into the workplace sooner. Thank you for your time. I'm now going to open it up for questions if anyone has any at this time.
Yes, I have a question. So basically, you're just saying there's 3 stages in this, in terms of the return to work. If somebody is off initially sick, and then it may go longer and then longer. So there's 3 sort of separate stages.
Yes, that is correct. There are 3 separate stages. We hope all our employees are able to return quickly in the return to work process, but if they are not, they will be reassessed and reevaluated by their care provider, and then maybe additional restrictions or more graduated return to work process will be initiated, and hopefully the employee will be able to return to full work.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'll just give it one more second. If there's no more questions, you can feel free to contact me at det363@detwarehousing.com. Thank you.